Hi everybody. I have another one today. This one is going to be on Sicily when I was down there with my friend. We had a few interactions and things happen with some of the men down there, and I will get out and talk about that. Okay, so actually, the very first thing, oops, let's get this where you can see them. The very first thing that I remember about being in Sicily was getting off the train, and everybody was so short. I had started my trip in England and then gone to the Netherlands, eventually headed on up to Norway and been in Sweden and Finland, where I was short. Everybody there was really tall. But when we got down to Sicily, they were all so very short. I could see the parts of everybody's head when we got off the train. That was kind of an interesting transition. Also, the man in Italy. My friend and I had been down in Italy for about a week or two by this point, and they were really getting on our nerves. But the men in Sicily probably were absolutely the worst. And we got on the train to go over to Palermo, which was going to be like a 6-hour trip. And we were really hoping we'd make it alive there because the men were so obnoxious and they wouldn't leave us alone. One of the conductors on the train actually reached over and put his hands on Kathy's cheek. So whoops, I think I forgot to put one in there. Yep. We finally made it to Palermo. We went to a place and an information center and asked them for a place to eat, but we then had to go after that and get some money cashed. So we told the person there where we were cashing the money we were going to go eat, and he said, that's a whorehouse. So the information center had sent us to a whorehouse. That guy gave us a different place to eat where we got some Sicilian pizza, which is actually very different than the American Sicilian idea of pizza. Then I was getting ready to order a drink, and as I got ready to say, and I'd like to drink, the waiter turned around, left, and walked away, and as he was walking away, said, Rosa Vino. Well, he turns out he brings me the whole bottle, which I tried to argue against. He puts it down, opens it, and says, now you have to pay for it. By the time the meal was done, I find out that he has brought the most expensive bottle of wine that was on the menu. They charged us for a large salad when we had ordered a small salad. I was really tired of getting ripped off, so I left them money just for a small salad and walked away. And then we went outside. It's Christmas time, right? So we're looking at these beautiful, let's see if I can move that in a little bit so you can see the top of that pretty building. We're in Palermo. It's Christmas. I'm looking at the lights. I had also just had a full bottle of wine instead of a glass or two. I hear this guy walks up right in front of my friend's face, and neither one of us think anything about it because it's what men do in Italy. They were doing to us anyway. They would actually cross the street and come over and walk right in front of us, and I just body block them. I'm like, get out of my way. I'm not moving over for you. So we got really used to this. This man, young boy, walks up right into my friend's face, stares at her. She has a purse, a little small wallet-sized purse wrapped across her shoulders. The string on it is what was holding it on her shoulder. It's a teeny tiny thing. Well, he just takes the purse and pops it off of the string. Right then his friend pulls up in the moped. He hops in the moped and they go off. So somewhere in the background here, this woman's hollering, stop that kid, he stole my purse. And it takes me a few moments to realize that it is actually my friend who has had this purse stolen. All the other people that are around there just kind of do a little bit of giggling and laughing. And we go into the police department. When we go there the first time, there's someone there that speaks a little English, so he's kind of trying to take stuff down. And he says, well, maybe y'all should go around the corner and see if they just ditched it, you know. It had her money, her Eurail pass, and her glasses in it. So we go outside, walk around to the end where there's an alley, and we look down the alley, and there's 5 or 6 Vespas with all these guys on it, and 2 of them are the ones that had just stolen the stuff from us. So we keep on walking, head back to the police station, and by then, you know, the English-speaking person has disappeared. So they tell us to come back the next day. We decided to rent a car because it has been so annoying to be around all of these men that are just on our nerves. The next day we get the car, go back to the station. I let Kathy out right in front where there's one Italian police officer standing there by himself. She gets out to talk to him, and 20 male police officers just come from nowhere and encase her and circle around her. But she did eventually go inside, and they typed as in typewriter, her statement, and we got out of there. It was a little difficult leaving Palermo. I really couldn't figure out what the rules for driving were supposed to be, so I was just kind of going the best that I could. There were quite a few people, other drivers, that would take their left arm and slap it with their right hand and give me this fist pump, but we got out of town. Then we get to this one place to get some gas. Well, I forgot how expensive gas was going to be in Europe versus what it is in the U.S., so I didn't have enough money. Well, the guy there at the gas station, I tell him I didn't have enough money. I only have 1,000 shilling from left over from another country, which is around 80 bucks at that point in time. And he takes it and he runs away. Well, I give the keys to my friend, and I start trying to chase him down and run after him. Turns out he's in a bank, which the bank had not been open because it was lunchtime. So the banks are open very late in the morning. They close for siesta at lunch, and then they shut down pretty early at night. So it's a tiny little window when they're open. This kid goes in. He finally, they let him change the money, and he gives most of it back to me except for about $10. We fill the gas up and head out a little bit more frazzled. We were heading towards Aris, I believe is the name of it. It's just beautiful. Sicily is gorgeous. The landscape is really spectacular. The drive that we went through took us past the volcano. What's she called? I don't remember. But here's, let's see if I can do this. You can pop, nope, it's gonna be way too dark. No, anyway, I got a photo of the volcano. It has steam coming out the top of it, and people are up there skiing on it because it's also covered in snow. So that's pretty cool to see. Then we ended up at this town. We got to Argento, I believe, something like that. And it was so pretty. Got there, needed a place to stay. My friend had done a little bit of research, looking for some places for us. Got to the first place, it was full. We're driving around, found some cops and asked them if they knew where the Hotel Belvedere was. And they gave us an escort over there. It was closed. So Kathy, my friend, asked about another hotel on her list. They said, no, don't go there. They said, you should go to Hotel Commodore. Well, that's the first place we went to. We told them it was full. They said, oh, they're friends of ours. So they took us over there, go up to the desk man, and he erases somebody else's name and puts our name in it. So that's how we found a place to stay over there. We went around this town for the next day. It was so pretty. There are all these gorgeous Greek and Roman ruins. I have always wanted to go to Greece. I still actually have not been there. But these were some Greek ruins from the 400 and 450 BC. So it was a real treat for me to be able to see these types of buildings and all the history of it. The Roman ones had a lot of tunnels and things that we could wander around in. Let's see, after that, we kept driving on, and we were heading over to Taormino. Actually, that's where we saw Etna. Yeah, on the way to Taormino is Etna, the active volcano. So before we left one of the towns, Kathy had this box that she needed to mail, so she needed to go to the bank and get some money. And they said, "No, you can't exchange money here. This is a bank." They said she had to go to this other place. Well, she didn't want to walk across to the other place by herself because the men had been attacking us so much. So she got the exchange man to walk over there with her to the bread and cheese shop, which, as it turns out to be, the place we had just left, and that's the only place in town where you can get your money exchanged. Well, we went to another little town. We tried one more time to sit down and have a meal. This time I knew that they would try and charge a cover, so I asked, and they said, no, we don't have a cover charge. The other place that had a cover charge, they had an automatic tip percentage on it, which included a percentage of the cover charge. So I asked them, they said, nope, no cover charge. Well, didn't really fare a whole lot better because this time they charged me extra money for a big wine when I had ordered a small one. And I got in a fight with the guy when we were leaving. I said, "You told me there was no cover charge." They said, no, there isn't. There's a bread charge. And then when I told them they had overcharged me for the wine, I just left the right amount of money for what I had ordered. And I left, but my friend thought that the guy was going over to get the cop, so she actually paid more and gave him the rest of the amount of money. So, yeah, we had a few run-ins with the men when we were over there. But like I said, the landscape was, and all the architectural places were just amazing. They were so beautiful. This one is sideways. This one, the next one coming up is going to be a harsh transition to really likeness, but we were underneath one of the little huts there. That's my friend to me. So that's Argentina, Agrigenta, excuse me, that's that town again. It was really beautiful. So when we finished our trip, we got back to the town where we had started, dropped the car off. Well, we weren't exactly where we started, but we dropped the car off. So they did not tell me that there was this extra fee for dropping the car off in a different location. In fact, what the fee was, it now meant I had to pay for all of the miles that we put on the car. So the car, I had to put it on my Visa, which was a brand new thing then. It was a debit card. It wasn't an actual credit card. It just came straight out of my bank account, and it cost an extra $150 for me to rent that car, which, you know, if you've been following this at all, we spent like $5 a night, sometimes $7 or $8 to stay at a place. So the car ended up being a very expensive endeavor, but it kept us from wanting to kill any of the other men when we were there, and that probably was very worthwhile.